Hi there, this is Paul the Mystic Guy. This is the second in a series of videos taking a look at Mystic 1.12 Alpha 36. And in this video we're going to explore a couple of changes that have occurred in this alpha. The first one is in the servers menu, where you can see that there are now options to edit a file called blacklist.txt, whitelist.txt and iplocation.txt. First thing I want to point out is that the editing functionality does not work in this alpha, but in the future alphas you'll find that you can select those options and edit a text file. Those text files reside in the Mystic data directory, although in the alpha that you would have unpacked, if you'd just gone to and had a look at the stock install for Alpha 36, those files are not present. They will appear in subsequent alphas. Incidentally too, these two files, blacklist and whitelist.txt, were introduced with the MIS2 server, which has now been retired and incorporated into the main Mystic server, MIS. There were previous versions of files that were called goodip.txt and badip.txt that sat in the Mystic data directory, and they had similar functions. So the purpose of those two files simply was to tell the Mystic server which IP addresses should be blocked and which ones should always be allowed to connect. And that's really the purpose behind the blacklist and the whitelist files. So if you want to get your hands on those files now, I do have a link to them, and if I just bring up this screen here, just to explain then, whitelist.txt is the IP autoban immunity list, and it does replace any files called goodip.txt that you would see in your data directory. I should say these reside in your Mystic/data directory. Also you've got blacklist.txt, which is the blocked IP address list. Now that list, that file, is added to by Mystic's auto ban feature if you have that switched on. And then lastly, there's also a wordlist.txt file that may well be in your data directory already, and this contains words that are added to all dictionaries of the spell checker if you've added the spell checker functionality by looking at a previous video. So what I've done is I've zipped those stock files up that will become apparent in later alphas and added them to a zip file here on my website bbs.geek.nz. So just to show you, I'm going to copy those, head over to the web browser and save that file. We'll open it up and extract all those files. Here are the extracted files, and just to show you what they look like, the blacklist, it just has some comments there about how you can add IP addresses or ranges of IP, whether it's IPv4 or IPv6, and if they appear uncommented without that semicolon, then the server will automatically block them and not allow them access to the Mystic server. Likewise, if you've got this whitelist file, same story. It's just the same notation, except in a file called whitelist.txt. That means that any of those addresses have instant immunity. They'll never be banned. They'll always be able to connect to your server. And finally, you've got a word list file here which contains words that are included and loaded into any dictionary if you've got the spell checker functionality added to your Mystic bulletin board. So what I'd do if I were you is I would just copy those three files, and I'd go to your Mystic directory and go into data, and you'll see here they're not showing as text files, and we'll paste them in. So there they are. That's as much as I can tell you about that functionality for now, but be aware that when another alpha comes out a little bit later, you'll be able to start editing those two files, and indeed this next one we're about to talk about, from the server menu. Or maybe it'll be somewhere else, you'll just have to wait and see, but that's the thinking behind what's going on there. Now, this last option on the server menu I also want to talk about in this video, and this is edit iplocation.txt. Now this is a text file that allows you to set a block so that, much like those blacklist.txt file where you set a specific IP address or a range, the IP location.txt is a way of actually blocking outright by country. So you can choose your favorite country that you wish to block by editing this file, and this file needs to sit in the data directory as well. Let's have a look at the notes. And I've just cribbed bits from the what's new.txt. So where it says miss2, it now actually is miss subsequently. So the server now has local country blocking that works with both IPv4 and IPv6. It no longer uses a service, instead a local database exists in the data directory. And that database is called iplocation.bin. And it's a free database, and you can see here there's a web address where you can pick it up from. In fact, I'll just copy that to my browser, paste it in, fire up the screen so you can have a look at it. And on this site you'll be able to download that bin file. Now for a period of time as well, I have created a link to the file that you want, and again it's at bbs.geek.nz/iplocation.zip. Now what you need to do, let's just grab this file, I'll just talk you through it. So if we go and download the file, iplocation.zip, and I will open it up. And in there are two files, a text file and the bin file. So both the files you need are here. I'll extract those files out once I figure out what I'm doing. There we are. Both of those files you want to copy and put again into your Mystic directory, and specifically the data directory. Just going to paste them in. And if I look at them by date and time, you can see there they are, bin and IP location. Now remember, with this server, ultimately you're going to be able to press L and press enter on this and edit the text file side of it. You don't touch the bin file, you just need to put it in the data directory. But for now we will just use my trusty Notepad++. This is a really excellent editor, and if you haven't got a copy I suggest you grab one, because I find it really useful when it comes to editing things. So here you can see this is the master country lookup/block list, and basically if you want to block a country you just change the letter, the first letter in the list here from A to B. And you have to be very careful not to mess with the layout of this file, which is another reason I suggest you use Notepad++, because it's again very, very good. If you scroll down, you've got a huge list of countries here, and it's entirely up to you as to how many you choose to block or not. Personally, I probably only block 2 that I can think of, and I'm not going to disclose which ones they are in this video because I don't think I need to, but it's over to you. But and I'm just picking on one completely at random here. In fact, I'll even choose the country I'm in. Not that I can't understand why you'd ever want to block this country, but there you go. So I'm in New Zealand, and I would just go and B, and then I would save that, and then the job is done. Now to enable this, there's another step we need to do, and that is to go into the configure servers, and we are looking at the BinkP server because that's where, well actually it could be any of them, but let's go into Telnet. And down here under country block you want to turn that on to yes. So now it's going to be looking at that file, and if it sees there's an incoming Telnet connection from, in this case, New Zealand, then it's going to block it. Now the next file here, send block, no or yes. Now I think from memory this will either send the word blocked or it won't, but I'm not quite sure what it does if it doesn't send blocked. So let me pause the video for a sec and I'll find out. Okay, time has passed and I've managed to figure out some of the answers that we're seeking. The key thing here is that if you have this set to send blocked yes, then what it should do, as I understand it, is it will either send the word blocked on the screen of the terminal and then disconnect the person who's trying to connect. Or what you can do if you want to add a bit more than just the word blocked is you can go into your Mystic directory and you can create a file called blocked.txt, and if you edit this file, sorry, you can't access this system as you have been blocked from doing so. Sad face. If I save that, then because that blocked.txt file is sitting in the data directory, Mystic should, and I say should, send the contents of that file to the user first before disconnecting them. Incidentally, and I'm not sure if this little tip works, but I'll share it with you as well, if you create a file called busy.txt and open up that one, then when people are trying to connect, say for telnet connections to your server, and the nodes are already in use, so there are no more available nodes that the incoming connection can attach to because they're busy or BBS rocks, then this contents of this file should be sent to the telnet node concerned. Now if you don't have this, it just simply prints busy on their terminal and disconnects them, but otherwise you might want to say, sorry, all our nodes are busy right now, please try again in 10 minutes, menu minutes. If problems persist, please contact, and then you might put your email address here, sysop@mybbs.com, whatever it is that you want to put in there. So that's the busy.txt file, and that was something I wasn't planning on getting into today, but there you go, that's a happy little divergence of what we were going to cover. So I'll just get out of that, and that is the IP blocking. Now I usually set that up on both Telnet and BinkP, so you'll want to turn country blocking on for BinkP and send the block message there as well. And that's it. That's all you need to do for those two features. So in this video we've covered blacklist and whitelist, and we've also covered the IP location service as well. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with updates as we roll through the end of 2017 and into 2018, where it's going to be yet another exciting year in the world of BBS. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.